Welcome to the Elite Podcast, where we discuss business, family, and life. Now, welcome to your hosts, Mr. H. Rod himself, Henry Rodriguez, and Ryan Arditty, the SCV MVP.
What's up, podcast world? We are back with the exclusive Elite X podcast, once again with your favorite insurance guy, Henry Rodriguez, and as always, with both my co-hosts.
It's your boy, the SCV MVP.
And Christian the Buffalo.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's all good.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, can we do that again?
It was like
Can we start over?
You wanted to know how a buffalo sounded, so I gave it to you.
That's what you came up with.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, there was the first time I had to try it, right?
You
We're
know,
good now.
speaking of things that are interesting, we decided to have babies, and now they're here.
How did that even happen?
Well,
Yeah, that's the story.
I know exactly how it happened, but
That's the question that we keep getting. Was that planned?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was in the
Let's
water.
set the record straight. Was it planned?
It was definitely not planned.
100% not.
Well, mine, I shot my shot because I wanted to have a little girl. I have
Okay.
two boys who I adore, but almost like having a midlife crisis at 37, 30, 38, 37. I was just thinking, like, man, I'm getting older. I'll be turning 40 in a couple years. I should have a girl. And someone's like, you better stop. I'm going to get pregnant. Sure enough, she got pregnant, and Harrison's here.
Super
So now we're,
adorable. Very cute kid.
He's beautiful.
The Buffalo and I were talking if he's yours. We're Buffalo. There's a debate going
It's
on.
very debatable. He's very fair skinned, blue eyes, a stud already. But hey, I have a green eyed kid. My Mason looks like me, brown, and then now Harrison, blue. So
And kudos on the name, Harrison.
I did
Solid.
win.
Solid.
There was a big challenge
Solid.
going on.
Were you
and,
ever not going to win? Because
of
it
course
didn't seem
not.
like that you were going to even let
I
her
was
win.
fluffing a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But officially, Harrison Frank Rodriguez, 7 weeks today.
Okay.
And you know what? It's funny. And we had these conversations. You know how stressed out I was about it at the beginning. But it's like, I can't even imagine life without him.
Right. It's
You know what
crazy
I mean?
how that works.
It does.
That's
it
like
does.
me. Can't imagine life without me.
I actually could. with you, Ryan. I actually could. But you just keep coming back. Kind of a stray dog, you know? You feed him once and they keep coming back. Ryan Arditty.
Well, so we had our baby 3 weeks after you.
Yep.
Isabella Grace. And we were not trying. We were definitely only having Jacob and Sarah. Sarah's 6 years old, Jacob's 16. And I don't even know what happened besides we were saying goodbye before she left to Mexico.
And then Brenda comes back from Mexico pregnant.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Yeah, we definitely checked the dates out to make sure that, you know, we were in the right spot at the right time. And all checked out. But man, it was crazy. I'll tell you, being 43 and being a dad all over again, I look around at our life and I remember how we started with Jacob.
Yep.
And I was, in a little condo in the Sienna Villas and barely even scratching and clawing my way to just make it. And now I look around and see what this little girl is born into, and I'm like, man, you know, she's never gonna know the struggle that we went through to get to this point, and just it's a blessing to be able to share that.
She's gonna be a Rodriguez.
She's adorable
Harrison
too,
and Izzy, it's
though.
already done. The moms have talked about this. It's an arranged marriage, dude.
I need to see a contract first.
Did they already have their first date? They had their
They
first
did.
date.
They did. Their first day at your house.
We don't do anything without it. If it's not in writing, we're not doing anything. So
Now he's an escrow. Everything has to be in writing now.
When I mean
Absolutely.
plan, though, like plan to have kids together.
No,
Not
yeah.
in
That
plan.
is the $1 million question that we keep
Everyone
getting
wants to know.
asked. No.
The
It
chat is
was-
blowing up asking.
we were in the same room at
Hey, settle down there. It was not planned. Actually, Sonia and I were pregnant first, and then Brenda, obviously in true Brenda fashion, announced it,
To
and
everyone.
then Sonia and I looked at each other like, oh crap! Now we gotta tell them that we're pregnant also. But you know what? What a cool experience for the girls to be pregnant at the same time.
Sure.
Who are best friends. So are we, and we're going through this experience together. You know, not like that, but like just having kids.
So it was planned.
And while we're here, like, shout out to those two girls because they are carrying the brunt of this
Amazing,
right
for
now.
sure.
Because you know we're pushing every day to keep on moving to stay in where we want to be at in the lifestyle, right? For these kids to be raised, and they're holding it down, both of them.
You guys did good.
But you know, shout out to me right now because I went to Cooperstown
Jeez
with my
Louise.
two oldest.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
never gone that long with my kids.
You were
I
gone
was
for a
out
while.
for almost 2 weeks. I had to
Be mom
I
and
had to-
dad for 2
yes,
weeks.
I did. I almost lost it. I had no idea what to do, but I figured it out, dude. I'm like
So proud of you.
newfound appreciation for moms because oh my god, and my kids are 10 and 11 and 12. And it was still like, oh my god! I'm like, I had to have a team huddle at the beginning. I'm like, guys, I am not mom. So like, you guys have to figure it out also. And
Sure.
it worked out. It was an awesome experience.
You had to make breakfast and stuff like that?
No, none of that, dude. No, mom was not there. It's funny. I'll share one quick story about Cooperstown, who I hope will likely be my son Jaden's one of his fondest memories growing up playing baseball.
Sure.
I mean,
I bet it
to
will.
this day, I have. Unfortunately, my parents couldn't afford for me to go to Cooperstown, but fortunate for him, we were able to send him. But I have a lot of friends who were able to go to Cooperstown, and to this day, in terms of all the baseball they played collegiately. Some actually made it to the show. They don't ever remember anything leading up to in terms of travel baseball, none of the tournaments, but they always remember Cooperstown.
Yeah.
Always.
Such a landmark.
And my son Jaden hit an absolute missile off the Green Monster in Cooperstown, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
what an experience.
So cool.
What an experience. Oh, and when we got there, it's almost like a rite of passage for these kids. Everyone's there. All moms were doing the mom things. I'm there just Jaden. Jaden didn't have a mom this time around. And so I'm like, oh, we're just dropping him off and with a big suitcase. But then all the moms started unpacking and doing this. And I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, Jaden figured it out. Like, all the moms are getting like their little cubbies together. I mean, it's like shoving shit everywhere. I had no idea what I was doing. But the kid figured it out and had the time of his life for that week in Cooperstown.
Amazing,
So,
man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, you guys ready to bring in our guest?
I'm excited for this
All right.
one. It's been a long time in the making.
Let's do it. You guys ready? The number one lender
Number
in
one.
Santa Clarita.
Number one.
Mr. Mike Meena. Welcome to the
Wow.
Elite X podcast.
He's really
boys.
here. Good to see you,
God,
man.
it's great to see you guys. You guys are sexier in person than you are on TV.
We're the same height in this chair, right? Same
You
height?
guys are all the same height. What are you guys, 5'4"?
Wow. Shots fired by Mike.
Wow.
Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
What do you want to know about me, Henry? I've been in the mortgage business for 34 years, almost 35. Had Augusta Financial since October 195. So that's almost 30 years. We're about approaching 30 years here. Love my job, love my business, love my company, love the people that I work with, and love the agents that I get to work with. There's a couple of you that are all wonderful.
It's from Mike Fashion. Love it.
No, it's truly, it's deal to deal. It's everything like that. But we always try to be respectful of everything, and not everybody's going to know everything about a transaction. Some have a little short temper, but for the most part, I mean, my clients are great. My agents are great. I love the business and I love to help people.
Yeah. Mike, you're known, and I respect you tremendously as a businessman, dude. You're a mentor. I go to you for advice. You're known in our community as the guy that can just figure it out when it comes to lending. What makes you that skill set for you unique in your company?
You work. I mean, you find the answer, you dig, you do what it takes, and you make sure that no stone is left unturned.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. It's the drive to win. It's the drive to, I mean, you have that same attitude with your business.
Yeah.
And some of us just work and work and work, and you get scheduled and you go, this is what it is, and I'm going to keep doing this until I'm done. And that's what it is. And so we crank, and I have my team that helps me with a lot of things, but truly it's me either pushing them or me pushing myself to get us to the level of making sure that we can get that done. And if we can't find a way to get something done, we're going to figure out options for our clients or what they're going to need to get where they want to go.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I started my blog today and I'm going to finish it up, and it's another avenue. I had a deal that blew up with another lender. We found a way to get the deal done.
Yeah.
And it was easy.
I can't remember. So many people reference his blog.
Oh, for sure.
I think the entire valley references your blog. I think it's the only blog I ever read. But it has information that...
And Ryan barely knows how to read, by the way.
Wow.
I gotta start doing more video just for guys like Ryan.
Are you shitting on Castate? Are you shitting on CMS right now,
that was kind of...
Are you
that
shitting on Castate?
That was kind of mean, Ryan.
Dang.
Sorry. But you really can't read.
I was gonna say for Meena, it's not a job; it's a lifestyle,
Oh,
right? Like
yes.
you would die for this stuff. I've written a ton of offers in this town, and when it's backed by an Augusta Financial pre-approval, it's getting done.
It's getting done, right?
Every time. Every
Mike, I'm staring at your phone right now on the case, and it says Mamba Mentality, and it's something that Christian and I always talk about. It's something that I've read, Kobe, someone who I admire and inspires me. Talk about that Mamba Mentality, because I feel like you actually live it every single day, man. You've said you've done this for 35 plus years now.
35 years now, yeah.
I like to think I'm extremely hardworking, but you put me to shame, dude.
Well, I think that you work until it's done. Kobe got in the gym at 3 a.m. Then he came back around 6, and then he came back around at 11, and no one's going to catch me. And it's the same thing that I've done. I was going through my old pipeline, and I'm like, man, I closed 138 loans one month, and
138 in 1 month?
Yeah. So that was my team. But again, that's not my company. That was probably, 138 out of 400 loans. But that was the crazy time of the refi market and everything like that. And I'm going, how did we do that? We can't even get to, 30 loans in a month right now because of the market the way it is. But again, I'm looking, what did we do? We got in early. We stayed late. We worked weekends. We did what it took to get those deals done. So that's what it comes down to. And my team was like, hey, Mike, don't bring any more business in. We can't handle anymore. And I'm like, yeah. And that was the hardest thing in the world for me, is to not go get more business because they didn't want it at that time because we couldn't handle it. And we kept bringing in new people. And it was like, okay, how are they going to do that? We're training them. We're teaching them. So anything that it takes is what it comes down to. And again, I remember being an individual loan officer, and I'd go in on a Saturday night to write a pre-approval letter because I didn't have a computer at my house. And I'd drive over to the office and do the pre-approval letter, fax it over to the guy. That's what you did. It was never an option not to. It's not an option to not answer a phone. It's not an option to not respond to an email or a text message. You do that naturally. And you just, like, every deal means not so much the money, but the relationship, the fact of taking care of people, and the fact that this is your job. And too many of us just kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
I was talking to a loan officer the other day. He's like, well, yeah, I like to vacation a lot, and I like to do this, and I like to do that. Do you take it? Well, not all vacations. I don't take my laptop. Dude, if I leave from my house and I go to Santa Monica, I got a laptop in my 100%. Trunk just in case I have to stop and do something. Yeah, my team can handle things or whatever. But do you ever see me? I pick up a phone every single time.
Yeah.
I think that's what separates him.
100%.
And one thing I want to say too, the wealth of knowledge, because I've known you for a while too. Whether you're the top agent in this town, or you're up and coming, he's always picking up, always available, and always there to support you. And that says a lot about you.
I learned from other people. I didn't know all of this. I didn't wake up one day at 25 years old and know everything, okay? I learned from watching, and I think that it's a really important thing. I had some really good mentors when I first started in the business. I had good mentors outside of the business, but my number one mentor in the business was Lou Fricke. And Lou was the number one agent before Neil was in this town. And Lou was just amazing because he took no bullshit. I just met with Lou a couple of weeks ago. I was down in Carlsbad and we had lunch, and he would not accept a lie. He says, you just tell me the truth. You screw something up, you tell me. He goes, but I don't remember you ever screwing anything up. I says, I didn't, because I was too afraid of you. But I mean, he's lived his life in a different way because he decided at 50 or so I'm retired, or 40, he decided I'm semi-retired. Then he went retired fully like 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever that was. But that dude just cranked it. And then all of a sudden he was like, Forrest Gump, I'm stopping. I'm done. And he just stopped in the middle of the road somewhere. And like, okay, I'm out.
Do you ask him how to do that?
Yeah.
Because
that's a great question.
You may need to do that one day, right?
Where I stop?
Yeah.
Like, when you're stopping at the middle
do you
of the
think
road?
that you might pull a Forrest one day?
I could
Forrest
talk to you
Mike?
about. I could talk to you about what I want. I love the loan officer stuff. I love handling clients. I love helping them. But more importantly, I love investing. So, I'm opening an investment group with 3 of my buddies right now. So we're going to transition like so many others are transitioning nowadays. I know it's kind of the new fad, but in a different way. But
Gender reveal.
But we're not going to get out of the mortgage business. I'm going to probably own Augusta Financial till death do us part.
Oh, that's your baby, man.
But I don't know that I want to be frontline going, yes, you have 3% down. Okay, let's do some credit repair. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So we'll transition away from that and have my team take that over at some point. But I will always be there probably as the president and owner of the company, assuming I keep it and nobody walks in with a check for the company. If you guys have a check.
Is there a dollar amount you would sell?
You know, Christian and I know how to retire guys, by the way. You know that. So we're coming after you next, Mike.
Well, I can't say it out loud, but my wife's divorce attorney thinks it's a lot more than what it is.
Okay.
So
We'll stay away from that. We'll stay away from that. We'll stay away from that.
So if I could get $1 for it, some days you'd
Yeah.
sell it for $1 and just go be a loan officer somewhere. But you don't want to lose the jobs. You don't want to hurt people that
Yeah.
way. And we're like family there too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm a big manifester, and this guy will tell you that I've definitely been like, one day I want to be with Augusta Financial. Like that's always been like
You said that.
something
He's throwing it
like
out there on the
energy that
podcast.
I've had, you know, and that's before New Hall Escrow. That's just because of what you've meant to this community,
Yeah.
right? And to the real estate community. And on top of that, I think you and I really have in common is educating the agents, right? Because we need to educate these agents to go out there and be equipped enough to bring home the deals and put these people in the right places and not work with bozos that are going to give them bad loans or, you know, just not understand what propositions are and what they could strategically use to help out these families. More than just buy and sell real estate, but actually be an advisor of selling and buying real estate.
I've got good news and bad news on that side, okay? I'm not going to live forever. The bad news, that's the good news. And the bad news is my dad's 87 and he goes to work.
He looks great, though.
At Northrop
oh, my
Grumman.
God.
So, you know,
He's still working at 87 at Northrop?
At 87, he goes to work at Northrop. And
Drives
on his
up there?
days off from work, he plays golf.
Okay.
So he golfs 3 days a week. He works 2 days one week, 3 days the next.
Okay.
And he goes, he works out of the house most of the time.
Oh, so
but
he doesn't drive up there.
You know, today he's at Lakeside for his lunch bunch from his Lockheed guys from when he worked back there.
Okay.
So, but he stays active. And I think that that's important for all of us. I remember as a kid, he'd come home from work and I'd be so excited. 4:15, Dad's going to get home. Where's Dad? Dad gets home. He's like, I'm going to run down to Valley College and I'm going to go run around the track. And he'd run around the track for an hour. And I'd go play tennis against the wall or I'd shoot baskets over there. And I would go with him every day. But he taught me to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And he taught me this is what you do. He left for work at 7:15 every morning, got home around 4:15 in the afternoon with his 15-minute drive each way and his 30-minute Lockheed lunch. And that was basically it. But he was very structured every day, went on his business trips, and that was a bummer for me whenever he was gone. And, he lives around the corner from me now, so that's nice. But the things that are important is you learn that structure of what it was. And you also learn from, at the knee of the master of how you're going to treat your kids and what you're going to do and what you do in life. And so he was so structured, it made me structured in my business. I figured out working out at 5:30 in the morning is better for me than doing it after work, because sometimes after work, Monday was 9:30.
Right. Yeah.
I got home at 9:30 and my girlfriend's looking at me going, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm getting home." I texted you 41 times. But I had things I was working on. And once I get focused, I got to finish that night because I've got that brainwave going.
Wow. Mike, you're still working till 9:30.
It's Mondays are rough.
Okay.
But this week we had plans. We had plans on Friday. I have plans tonight with my daughter, and then I had plans last night. So I knew I had 2 late nights this week, Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
And so I had to take full advantage, because if I'm leaving at 6 tonight, which I am, that's early for me to leave. And last night we left at 5:30. That's early for me to leave. I usually leave at 7 to 8 o'clock.
Mike, I love how you touched on discipline. And yesterday at one of our elite meetings, you talked about customer service, getting back to people.
That was awesome.
Whether it was via text or email, whether you're in a meeting or not. Can you shine a little more light on that? Because I think that is exceptional as it relates to service. And what I always share with my team at the Rodriguez Agency is we have to deliver a remarkable client experience. If it's short of that, we're not accomplishing our purpose.
We had this meeting, and we had a team meeting last Thursday evening, and I had all my managers there, and we sat down, and I said, "Who do you think has great customer service?" And the Wynn, Ritz-Carlton, someone said Galpin Ford. These are what you look for with that concierge service. We are not going to be the lowest price lender in town, because that's the internet lenders that are gonna just crack below you or whatever it's going to be. You get no customer service there. We give customer service. We explain things to clients. We go over everything. Our fees are what they're going to, are explained. Everything is done. So holding their hands and walking them through the most difficult thing in their life. They do this once for the first time. They might do it 3 or 4 times in a lifetime.
Right.
And it is the most difficult, most excruciating thing for a first-time buyer to go through that and go, oh my God, what do I do here? And how do I do this? And let me look at your tax returns. This is what you need to show for your 24s before you file them. This is how we're going to do it. This is you want to add a little more depreciation. See if your accountant will do this. Maybe we have to go into this type of a loan. Oh, this condo project has an issue. You know, you can't do 3% down there. You have to do 10%. Oh my God, I don't have 10%. Right. And you're not going to like the rate with 10% down because of the issues. But they go to the internet. They're never going to get that freaking loan.
They're not giving nothing.
But you've made your role. You're an advisor at that point, right?
Absolutely.
You're getting down to the granular level. You're sharing with them, hey, even before you file your taxes, here's what you should do so you could put your best foot forward and qualify for your first home or your dream home, whatever the case may be. But you're making that a reality for them.
Explaining where there are in steps. So I had one of my realtors brought his son in the other day, and he's a lineman. So he just started making money 2 years ago. Makes about 170, probably 250 this year because of the fires and stuff like that. But he'll make 200,000 to 300,000 a year. And I went through everything, including what he wants. I explained what marriage and divorce is about because that's a big topic today. Where, you know, when you get married, you know, she gets half and all that other. He was shocked. He was shocked, truly shocked.
You know that firsthand.
We don't want to talk about that.
But
We're not going to talk
I
about that.
explained to him that he could put 5 or 10% down on his first house. He has enough for 10%. So he's like, okay. I said, but maybe you want to put down 5 and then you want to hold that property as a rental. I says, you're going to refinance it because the rate's going to be in the 6s right now. Then the second one, maybe get down to 5 or 4 before you move. Then you move to the second house, $700,000, $900,000. The third house, 1.2, 1.3. And you're holding these rentals on the way up and you're doing it with 5% down. And then I showed him your $700,000 house in 25 years is going to be worth $2.1 million, or it's going to be worth 1.8 and it's going to be paid for. And you're going to be collecting $9,000 a month in rent in 25 years on that property that's paid for. There's one pension. There's a second pension. It's not even a pension because you're going to get enough from where you're working right now. But the thing is that's your screw you money. You want to go somewhere. You want to go on a vacation. You want to take this. You want to do that. There's so many great things that you can do if you set yourself up. Do you know how expensive college is? You don't have college kids yet, do you?
Not yet. No.
But wait
We're
till
saving
it happens.
for it for sure.
You have to save for it, and then it costs you more. And then when they graduate and they don't have a job, they're already living to a freaking lifestyle.
That's true.
It's incredible how much these kids will milk us for because we love them so damn much. Okay? So it's very expensive. I think I spent, I don't want to say what the number was, but I know it was 7 figures, but it could have been the 2 in front of it for what I spent on the kids in their college and all of the other added things. Flights to and from.
Yeah.
Them flying to and from. The apartments, the stuff that we bought, the furniture that we threw away afterwards, all of that stuff is so expensive. So if I didn't save money with my investments, and when Emily turned 3, I bought my first property with a 15-year mortgage and said, that'll be paid for when she goes to college. And she was the cheapest college student because she rode horses and wanted to stay close to the horse. But the others all kind of went somewhere else that was way more expensive. These are the things that I try to explain to kids. Young families as they sit in my office and explain that. And that kid I've known, you know, since he was probably 11 or 12 years old. So I could have the divorce conversation. I don't have that with everybody. But his girlfriend was out in the car. So if she was in the room. But I will explain to a couple if they're sitting in my office and they go, hey, Mike, I'm coming in with $80,000 and my boyfriend here, Ryan, has 3 cents. Okay. And I'll say, that's your 80 grand. Put it in writing now because that's your 80 grand that you saved before you knew this deadbeat Ryan. Okay. But I really
can't wait till that one gets
I wish someone explained that
This
to me.
episode right now.
I wish someone explained that to me. This is the money you brought into your marriage.
Right.
Okay. I brought in a lot.
You're not giving half of that away. Is what
I'm
you're
giving
saying.
100% of that away to it. I mean, 50% of that because I didn't keep it separate.
I understand. Yeah.
So had I had a contract with her day one before I got married, then I would have had that. So, you know, and that's important because you're sitting there with some people get 300 grand in inheritance. You've got to keep that separate in some way, form, or fashion.
Right.
But sometimes they don't, and then they give away 150 grand of their dad's money or mom's or whatever it is.
You know what I was just going to say about Meena? Great advisor, amazing lender, but you're also a great father, right? Like you are a great dad. And I got to know Emily a little bit when she was working with Brando, and like you, I don't think you talk about that. Like it's just how much you care about your family.
Well, okay. So you guys tell me, you just had babies, right? When you had the first one, and you grab that little girl, and that's my little girl's Emily, my first daughter, okay? And you pick her up and you go, I know how much my parents love me now.
Right.
We all did that as parents the
100%.
first time.
Yeah.
Okay? But that doesn't change. You know what changes? Is all of your expectations, all of your dreams about, oh, they're going to go this way and their path's going to be this beautiful path. And it's going to be fantastic. And we have all these challenges over here and here and here and here and here. And we deal with them. And all the things we expected our kids not to do, I would say all of the things, many of the things we expected our kids not to do, they end up doing anyway. And you're going, holy crap, when did I hire this? When did I sign up for this shit?
Mike, I'm literally going through exactly what you just explained because my son Jaden is 12, and oftentimes when they're sleeping, I'll go and make sure they're still breathing, and I just think to myself, like, how could I love any other person this much? But at the same time, he's becoming a teenager, so like the dream that I had, now it's become that reality of exactly what you just explained. Because, man, we're having just unique conversations, tougher conversations about, like, what do you really want to do? Because that's my reality right now, going into these teenagers, and I'm sure you're going it with Jacobo.
Yeah, 16 for sure. And I feel like if you're not pushing, then they're not moving.
No, for sure.
It's a constant push.
Yeah.
And because I love him, and that's why I always preface it with him, is that I push you because I love you, and I want to get you to a point faster than I got there.
100%.
And lead by example, right? Like you said with your dad, he taught you hard work, wake up early, go. I think that applies still to our kids today, right?
And I think they appreciate that. I don't think they show it early on, but then they see it. And I look at where my kids are and how easy their life was to this point, and how I'm trying to make it more difficult for them. And it's hard as a parent to make it more difficult when you have the means. So it's been a challenge. I think if I was to do it all over again and I was 26 years old and went to get married, I'd have a couple other things. I'd probably not live in a 5,200 square foot house. I'd probably live in a 1,700 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, have my family close with one television in the family room and no cell phones after 8 o'clock. Yep. But, it takes two to tango on that. And we were not always on the same page with that.
Yeah.
I was talking to my daughter the other day, and we were having dinner with two of my girls, and she was saying, I said, I was always torn of private school versus these great public schools we have out here in Santa Clarita. And I said, I feel you guys got a more well-rounded education, but I look at my nephews and I see how smart they are and how much more they learned at their private school education. But they go, I hope my sister's not watching this. They turned out nerdier than us, Dad.
Literally the conversation I was having with Christian the other day about, my kids either going to private school or going to like Saugus High.
Yeah.
We're just having this conversation.
It's a challenge.
It is a challenge, and I am at that. I'm at the fork in the road. I'm in the fork in the road right now with that exact moment.
Yeah, I learned once in high school, don't fork in the road, Henry.
What about homeschool? Those are worse.
If it's a cul-de-sac, it's okay. So,
Mike, going back, let's dive into some of these questions I actually had prepared for you. Okay.
Okay.
So not only are you the top lender in Santa Clarita,
right?
Okay.
Number one.
Number one. Yeah.
Numero uno.
For 25 plus years.
But you're a seasoned real estate investor also.
Yes.
Which came first, the investor side or the top lender?
You had to have money to invest.
Okay, so the top lender came first.
My dad was an engineer. We explained that. Okay. I am super conservative by nature. I learned my grandmother was a product of the Depression. Her dad owned car dealerships in Worcester, Massachusetts before the Great Depression. She came out here, met my grandfather and came out here and had to start fresh. She was the oldest of, I think, 7, 8, 9 kids. She raised my dad like it was the Depression. She, again, was scheduled. Every Thursday, they cleaned the house. They had a schedule for every Monday through Friday, whatever they did. Not a lot of money, but the answer to that question is you have to have money first to invest it. My grandfather never made over $30,000 in his life, and they had an apartment building when they passed away and a ton of money in the bank, a ton of money for what they had made. So I learned a long time ago, invest in stocks, put money into other investments. When you have a little more, you put it into this, you put it into that. I've made mistakes along the way, but I always started with second mortgages, first mortgages, whatever I can lend at a higher-ish interest rate. Then I went into buying properties. Like I said, when Emily was 3, I bought my first property. Then I bought my second, my third. And I think I got up over, well, I know I got up over 50 at one point of properties, whether I'm flipping them or doing other stuff. So here's the thing. You have a choice. You can go buy that new pair of shoes or that fancy new car, or you can really save money and you can buy as many cars as you want and as many pairs of fancy shoes that you would like to somewhere down the road. So how much do I want to kick that down the road? And I see guys, I see gals, I see people where they need the now. The kids with this damn cell phone and everything's immediate.
Right.
Okay. I need that now. Or I can wait, put that money away and let that money work for me. So I decided to let my money work for me. And then I decided to keep working so I have more money to go work for me. So that's what I do. Now, right now, we're treading water because business is slow. But I know all you realtors that are watching this are going to start sending Mike Meena at Augusta Financial 661-714-6258 some business.
I love that.
Follow him on Instagram.
Let me do a follow-up question on that. Since you have accumulated so many properties, can you give people who are starting out, investors that are investing in homes, like a couple creative or a creative way of financing those properties?
Yeah. So I think the first thing you do is you buy your first property and you do it with as much or as little down as you can. I would say go with a little down and get ready for the bump property. So the bump property is that second property. You keep your first one and hold that as a rental. It was easier when interest rates were 2.75% than it is when they're 6.75%. But we're going to deal with that because we're going to refi them down a couple times. So it would be 5% down on 3% on the first house, 5% on the second, 5% on the next move up house, 5% on the next one. There's 4 years. 4 properties, done. That's your life right there. You're over with, okay? And you didn't even spend 20% yet on the full down payment. Now, you've got negative cash flow on the first property today. You got negative on the second maybe, but in a few years, you'll catch up to it. Right. So that's the easiest way to get into the market. I'm probably beyond that. So you can't go Sienna Villa, Santa Fe, and then go to the Woodlands and then say, oh, now I'm going to go buy a condo over, a Mayfair. No, you can't do that. You've got to go boom, 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 boom. And you could do that 7 or 8 times if you really want to and keep going with the 5% down. And every year you do something like that, every 9 months, whatever that is. That's the easiest way to get there. But it's also the easiest way for a market correction to take you out. So we've got to be careful and concerned about that. So if I had a guy like Ryan who's making $500,000, $750,000 a year,
number one realtor
like in this room, yes,
I don't even know if that's true.
Wow. This episode.
I think Mike might have more transactions.
So
whatever, $500,000. Keep going.
So Ryan's making 38,000. No, but he's making $500,000 a year. And what happens with Ryan? He buys his first house. He's in a Sienna Villa, and he goes, "Shit, there's a new house that came up in the Woodlands. I gotta have it." So he blows his ability to do that. Now he's going to need 15 or 20% down to buy those second and third properties. And 15% is there, but we tell people 25 on that next rental because the payment's so much difference and there's points and stuff like that with less than 20% down. But that would be the way I would tell him. But most people are too impatient to do that. Right. They go straight from Sienna Villa, straight to the Woodlands or straight to Westridge, and that's what it is. And then they're there for life. And an agent like Ryan would rather push them from house 1, house 2, house 3, house 4, house 5, house 6, house 7. Right. That would be great if we could do that. But then it becomes, well, how much extra cash do you have? Where do you have that? What are you doing? Are you putting your money? So I sent, I did this the other day. I sent my kids a statement on what I've been putting away for them since they started working for me or whatever, and they still work for me. But the majority of that money goes into a savings account. So now they're looking at their stock accounts. They're like, "Dad, when can I get that?" It's just when you have a good idea, when you have a good idea to invest that money into something that's viable, whether it's a house or something else. or an investment or a business or something you want to do, we can take portions of it. But remember, when you sell that, you're going to pay capital gains on that. Capital gains.
What's that?
You know, what's that? Exactly. So we go
Do you know
through
what capital
that.
gains are, Ryan?
Yes, of
okay,
course.
just want to make
Yes,
sure.
I do know
when you're
capital
advising
gains.
your clients.
We do know capital gains.
So we try to explain all of that. But yes, I would put money into stocks. If you have a 401k, you max that out. If you have an IRA, you max that out. If you can go Roth IRA, you max that out. Those are things those are non-questionable.
Right.
Those have to be done every year. Every time you do a transaction, you're just going to pay taxes on it anyway. So put that money away. Do your write-offs. Let's talk about how you want to write off your income to get yourself to the level you want to get to. So those are all important things. But yes, invest. So I can buy that new pair of Nikes, or I can put that money away and eventually invest. Okay. Oh, I can go buy that new Porsche. I can buy that Ferrari. I could buy this. I could buy that. There's a lot of things I could have bought. I bought a 9-year-old Bentley for $70,000. I could have bought a brand new one for, $300,000.
That was a nice Bentley, though.
It's nice.
car.
It's
Yeah.
still sweet. And
It's
I've
nice.
had it for 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah.
So what's the answer? The answer is invest, because your investments are going to make you more money in the long run than that. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. So what can you invest in? Stocks, real estate, notes. Okay. What's my new company going to be doing? The Synergy Investment Group with my 3 buddies. It's going to be doing that for people at $25,000 increments.
That's pretty
because
cool.
what happens? They can't do that on their own. So there's other avenues to that, but that's where I want to be. I want to help the Ryan Arditties who can't put money away, even though they make a lot, but they have $25,000. But $25,000 isn't enough to go and break the bank the way they want to.
Right.
We're
We've
not going to
talked
do
about
401ks
this.
and
Yeah.
stocks, but we're going to do all the real estate side. We want them to put their money in their real estate investments.
Right. Mike, this is like, again, you become an advisor, you truly care about your relationships, right? So, because if you're having this kind of impact on a relationship, helping them build wealth, you'll have a client for a lifetime.
Correct.
Right?
That's what we hope.
Love that. Switching gears, you've done thousands of loans. We're in a unique market right now with the online lenders. Uniquely here in Santa Clarita, we call them the out of area realtors. What is your biggest, greatest advice that you're now advising the people that work with you in regards to the internet lenders and the out of area realtors?
Well, first of all, if they're looking at a condo and you're looking at lenders other than us, it's stupid because there's 41 condos with HOA issues right now. We just had another one pop up, I think, on Tuesday.
Apple Park, you said.
Apple
right?
Park, yeah, exactly. So, what are you going to do there? So that's crazy. If you're looking to save 1/8% in interest rate and you want no customer service, go on the internet. Go find your lender and go see if they're going to deliver that rate and see how they're going to answer the question. See if they close on time. See if you don't have. We had a client that had a notice to perform the other day. They're not going to qualify. She came to me 37 days into the escrow. And they were 7 days extended and $1,000 a day per diem now.
Wow.
And then I looked at him like, there's no way you're qualifying, but I really want the house. Well, that's exciting. But your lender lends you down a road
I really want a lot of things,
to
but
nowhere.
Right.
And I said, I'm happy to look at the whole file, but from what you're telling me right now, there's no way. And the lender averaged the income. They had a good year in 23 and a bad year in 24, and they averaged the income. And you know what? You can't. You have to take the 24 income if it was lower than the 23. Simple, basic stuff. So what do I tell them? You want to take the chance, okay? Do you want that guy who's an assistant doctor, okay, to have surgery on you? That he's basically an LVN that's never done surgery before, and you're going to have him go do surgery on the most important thing of your life? Really, that's up to you.
Right.
And I can't sit there and argue. If you can save $50 on that surgery, I think you should take your life into your hands. And it shouldn't be that serious, but a lot of times it turns out being that way. And same thing with realtors in a market that they don't belong in. Okay, you're showing property in an area you don't know. Okay, and you should know the area like the back of your hand. You've been working out here for how long, Ryan?
A long time, over 20 years.
Don't you know most of the properties and what people are looking for? And if you sat down with a client today and they said, I'm looking for an 1,800 square foot house, 1 story, 3 bedrooms at least, you would know the tracks to show them. I want to be in this school district. But you would know exactly where to send them.
Yeah.
Okay. And an agent coming from out of the area, they're going to go by, it says in the MLS it's a 2-story, but for some reason it was input wrong.
Right.
It's a 1-story. You would have known that. There's nothing on that street that's a 1-story, 1,800 square foot house.
Yeah.
So then they're trying to negotiate, and they have no idea what they're doing negotiating for these clients. And no offense to agents that are out of the area, and I understand we all need to make a living, but do your research, guys.
Yeah.
I do it. We're sending out. I don't want to tell you my trade secrets, but we're working hard out of the area on certain things too because we can help out of the area.
Yeah.
A lot of agents that list homes that are out of the area always put the city as Santa Clarita. I don't know if you caught on to this. And a lot of buyers, like, I want to live in Valencia, I want to live in Cannon Country, but when it says Santa Clarita, it won't pop up.
Right.
So that exposure won't be, is if you hired a local agent, it's actually in Valencia, right?
Yeah,
so it's things like that
Yeah,
that change.
the HOA in Melrose, that's very local here.
Yes.
When
It's like
you go
Greek when they
outside
hear
of
that,
Santa
yeah.
Clarita,
Yeah.
they don't even understand what that is. And that, I mean, you know better than me, but that's $500-$600 a month in some places, maybe more.
Yeah, can be. And it's brutal. And they have no idea about that at all. Also, some don't, we have houses where we have new builds and there's
Double
solar
HOA.
on a lot of them. There's not as much solar in the valley as there is out here.
No.
And they have no idea how to transfer the solar. We have manufactured homes out here. And they go and show a manufactured home and they have no idea what that's all about. And
Lease
they have,
land.
Yeah. And what do you mean it has to be strapped to the foundation? Well, it's to be strapped for the foundation.
Even appraisers, online lenders, their appraisers are from like New Mexico or random places. They're not even from Santa Clarita, so they don't know the area at all. And like the Discovery Track's a lot different than the Summit, right? Like, and the appraisers that are out of town, they don't understand that.
Correct.
And that makes it challenging because if it comes in low, well, then they're calling him like, "Can you fix this?" at the last second.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm gonna take a step back. Ask a question about the name of your company. Why Augusta Financial?
Okay, so back in 1995, it was we wanted to be in front of Bank of America in the phone book. We thought, okay, that's the big boy here, and we'd be in front of Countrywide too at the time. And
Countrywide, taking it way back.
Countrywide, Bank of America. I'm surprised Bank of America is still in business. But needless to say, we wanted to be in front of them. And then so me and we had I had two partners at the time. Steve Shepard, who's now a teacher somewhere out in Palmdale, Lancaster. Hopefully you're retired, Shep, if you're listening. And then my buddy Sean Treeluggen, who still works for my company today. But we agreed, hey, Augusta is the Masters Golf Tournament. Augusta Financial Masters in Finance. How does that sound? And two of us agreed. The other one thought it sounded like masturbating.
You heard it here first, guys.
But
he was the non-golfer.
Whatever it takes to get
We're
you
not
off.
going to say his name, Sean. But good old Catholic boy. You know how it is. Oh, no.
Was that the name? Augusta Financial, the Masters
It said
in.
Augusta Financial, and then our tagline was Masters in Finance.
Yeah, it's a little.
Mike, that's what I do love about you, man. You always shoot straight. You're an open book, man. I can always come to you, and you'll always be completely honest and transparent. And that's like your theme, your anthem. Like, it's what you do, who you are.
The truth serum.
You know what? I'll be
Even if it
kind to
hurts.
clients. I'll be sweet and everything like that. But I'm going to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Because if we're not telling the truth to our client and we're sugarcoating it, and oh yeah, you can qualify for 850, Ryan, no problem. You go out and look at 850, put an offer in. I'm like, you don't qualify for 850. Oh, I figured it out.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Or telling them where they need to be in savings. I talked to a guy this morning, he makes $70,000 a year. I'm like, with what you've got right now, you qualify for $297,000 with 3% down. You need to start making more. I says, but if you get to this, and he's making commission now, and this, that, and the other, 1 year of commission, I can add that commission back. Now all of a sudden you're at $90,000 a year. That's going to get you up, 30% from where you are now. That gets you to maybe 400. That's where I want to be. Okay, great. Then we've got a goal. Maybe put a little more money away, pay off the credit card bills. Let's get you to the point of where you want to be. And it's the same thing with the agents. And I'm not, we're joking around here and we're having fun, but I'm not a jerk to anybody. I just want everybody to succeed. We can all succeed. Isn't that the American dream?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you genuinely want that for everybody.
Oh God. So let me go back one more step. I love my dad. My mom was the greatest mom in the whole wide world. When I grew up, Henry, we didn't have a lot. My dad was the single sole income of the house, and they used to fight over money. It was like, Lillian, you bought that kid a shirt. We don't have $11. It was stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of old school stuff. And I said, I don't want money to ever be an issue in my life. And thank God, knock on wood, it's not, okay? It's almost been a problem, the money I have. But that's okay. I'll deal with that problem.
It's a good problem to have.
I don't want money to be an issue in my life. If we all looked at it that way and we said, gosh, we need a bigger car or truck, or we need a house that's bigger. I shared a bedroom with my brother, okay, growing up. And we had to add on when my baby sister was born, and my dad was pissed off about that because it was my mom's plan to have 4 kids. The baby sister's awesome. I love her, and she's got my 2 favorite nephews too. They're the best. And I bet you they kick your son's ass in baseball too.
Challenge accepted.
I bet.
How old are they? How old are they?
They're older now. My youngest one's 15. The other one's going off to college next year. So he's going to be the freshman quarterback at Loyola High School. Go get him, Hunt.
Oh, nice.
He's good. And the other one's off to college. Played baseball at Loyola for 4 years.
Very good.
But needless to say,
J-Rock gonna be a baller though, bro. I don't know, bro.
I said challenge accepted, bro.
so we'll put the stats up at the end. So, but the important thing is I made money a priority. Maybe I didn't spend as much time at home as I should have. And my neighbor Dave, who I texted this morning, he's having some back problems. I said, he used to always say to me, he goes, they only grow up once. He goes, you only see them once. And I remember reading something. You see your kids for the first 18 years, you see them every day until they move out of the house. And then you see them for a total of 2 or 3 years the rest of your life.
Wow.
It's horrible.
That's
it
sad.
really is.
Yeah.
Jesus, Meena.
But what does that tell you? I always said it should be reversed. If I knew I was going to have the money I had, I would have wanted that money front loaded, and then I'd work my ass off once the kids are out of the house.
Yeah.
But you don't have the drive and the energy like you had when you were in your 30s either, so it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
But that's where what I've done, and hopefully what you guys are doing, is giving that legacy to make your kids' life easier when they get to that point of having children and doing things and paying for your grandkids' Cooperstown or whatever that is, or putting funds away to go ahead and help them with the college and do those things to make that life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about. So helping these people get into their first house, okay, it's incredible. And I always say, buying rental properties is like having a tattoo. You don't know too many people with just one tattoo. Okay, they have multiple tattoos. I have 0 at this point. But,
Same.
I have 0 too.
I have a lot of people like that. The other thing is you don't know anybody who's owned multiple rental properties, and I know you guys can attest for this. Think of someone who's owned 3 rental properties for at least 10 years, even if it was back in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or 2000, that was broke.
Yeah, no.
That was poor.
Yeah.
They all have something substantial behind them.
Yeah.
And it's not just rental properties. It's putting money away in the 401k. It's putting money in the IRA. It's doing that whole investing thing. Saving money is a lost art. And I always said that the government should put an incentive on that.
Right.
Increase your 401k levels. Do something that way to really force it. But they want the spending so everything looks good. GDP looks better. Credit card debt's at an all-time high. This is freaking fantastic, isn't it? People are paying 27% interest on a credit card. And again, and I'm getting too much into this, but how many people can stay at this level forever? No. They're either going to go in debt or they're going to save money.
Right.
What's it going to be?
Mike, you're living proof of one of my favorite quotes. Live today like most people won't, to live tomorrow like most people can't.
Correct.
And I live by that. Yeah. I love that quote, and everything you just explained is exactly, it just solidified that quote is going to stay with me forever because, again, live today like most people won't, to live tomorrow like most people can't. And you're doing it, man. You're doing it. And you're doing an excellent job.
Definitely.
With your business, with your family. Sticking on that theme in terms of leaving a legacy, I'm sure people have had in your life. You talked about your dad. You talked about Lou Freaky, about mentors. Could you share some maybe the best advice you've ever gotten from either those gentlemen or anybody else, any other mentors in your life?
I think I watched and I saw one of my first mentors, Tom Boehry, who's not watching this right now. I worked for him in a liquor business for 9 years. And I saw him go through hell with his wife and an illness. And don't want to get too crazy about it, but that man stuck by her side through thick and thin, and I admired that. I watched others, go through other things where they didn't have enough cash, but they had properties. So you don't want to be that person either. So you just learn from example of what goes on in life, and you watch people around you and you try to learn from them. And I think today we're so isolated. We work from home. We don't see the people around us. I miss the camaraderie in the office. I tell them, we ever hire anybody, they're coming in the office full time.
Yeah.
I want them in the office full time. because it's the energy that you have there. And then the learning process, the water cooler talk's real. It helps. I never get mad, although I get frustrated with people sitting over there talking at the water cooler for 10 or 15 minutes if they're talking business. If they're talking about other stuff, I go, okay, come on, guys, let's get to work. But I think the advice that I've learned is more of what I saw. You don't judge a book by its cover. In the liquor business, we had this guy, we used to call him the landowner. And he looked like a ZZ Top character. And he came in, and you go and you have to watch him because he looks like he doesn't play for ZZ Top. He could be a criminal because he's got this long beard and hair everywhere and all this other crap. Turned out to be the nicest man you'd ever meet in your life. And he was the landowner in Sherman Oaks, south of the boulevard, bought a bunch of properties and sold them and made all kinds of money and that kind of stuff. So being judgmental towards people doesn't work. So we just got to learn of all this stuff and who are the good people, who are the bad people. You listen, you open your ears. We got people that are after a certain former real estate agent out here in this valley right now that they all invested with him, and he didn't have the cash flow he needed. It's stuff like that. Open your ears, guys. Talk to your friends. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Someone called me today and asked me for advice. I don't care what it is, who you are, or where you're from. Okay? And you just call. I'm answering that question. I'm going to give whatever I can because I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. Okay? Don't invest with Ryan Arditty. No, I'm just kidding.
I love this podcast.
This is your favorite episode, dude.
I want to invest in your new one.
You will. You'll get invited.
I wanted to ask you real quick. Are you starting that to mentor people like me? I guess, agents.
Here's what I see, Ryan. I see it way too often. 75-year-old real estate agents still going to work every day.
I talked about it day one when I first met you.
And $25,000 is not a lot of money from a real estate agent standpoint or from a client standpoint, and they don't know how to get started.
Yeah.
And the four of us, and can I say names? Rendell, Brandolino, and Scott Visner are my three partners in this one.
That's a sexy lineup right there.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Brandolino's going to handle the flips. I'm going to handle a couple of the other financial ones. We have other ideas that we're doing.
Yeah.
Dave's going to handle I'm going to handle subject twos. Dave's going to handle value adds. But we're all going to sit there and try to help people out in our community and then outside of our community. But our first race is going to probably be $10 million. But I think we'll blow right through that.
We had breaking news right now, huh?
Yeah, we do.
That's
I love
solid, Meena.
But the good news is we want to help people invest, and we're going to give a 7+ plus or minus % return on investment, but it'll probably turn out to be 10, 11, 12%. But we want it to be long-term for these people, and we want them to understand that if you don't invest the first time, you don't learn what investments look like. I had one of my stock guys called me today. He's like, I just want to let you know I did well for you. I'm like, ooh, what do you do? Great job. I'm so proud of you and everything like that.
Charge me.
But he did. And he made money and everything like that. But my kids' accounts are good. My accounts are good. But it's because I invested.
Yeah.
The problem is if I didn't put that money in originally, there would have been a problem. So we've got to go ahead and force that savings. The Trump big, beautiful bill of putting $1,000 away for a kid, great, because that's just the start of it, guys.
Right.
Put a little more money, put $100 a year, put $200 a year, put $300, put $500, put $1,000. Right. Let's get to that savings part so we don't have grandma at 74 years old. And how many people have you guys talked to, I can ask, that had to sell their house because they didn't have enough equity. They couldn't do a reverse mortgage. They'd been pulling cash out for many years. They have no 401k, no IRA, no savings, and their kids don't have enough money to support them, and they're moving in because they're building an ADU at mom's house.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, too many.
Yeah,
right.
A lot.
Too many.
For sure. Especially in Castaic. No, I'm just kidding. Bad joke.
Mike, this has been a fantastic episode, man. You're a
We can
wealth
talk
of
forever.
knowledge. One last question, and we'll wrap this up, man. From your vantage point as a top lender, and you're fortunate to work with a lot of the top realtors in town, what is one thing that most realtors could be doing right now to grow their business?
It's really easy.
Call Mike.
Work. 100%. Okay. So my buddy Corey Maggio. Corey, you watching this?
I love Corey.
We're giving Corey a shout out right now.
No, check this out.
They're super tight. No, Corey, this is a good story.
So Corey's a good guy.
Yeah.
So he works out with us every morning now, or the mornings he shows up, let's put it that way. And his business is blown up.
Yeah.
Because we yell at him about consistency. Gets a new girlfriend, falls off the train. Boom. Falls completely off. Yeah. I said, dude, what are you doing? I know she's a beautiful girl. You guys are having a great time, everything like that. You've got to work. He has the talk with her. What's happening now? He's got more escrows.
Yeah.
He's got more listings because he's working. Okay. And this is a tough market. This is a tough market to get listings. It's a tough market to get buyers. Buyers are a pain in the butt. But we've got to work it no matter what we do. And if we don't stay consistent, and again, this takes me back to the office. If you come into the office first thing in the morning, Neil Weichel comes into the office every morning and he leaves when he's done at the end of the day. That's a perfect example of what it is. He goes on his listing appointments, comes back to the office, doesn't go home. Okay. And he was going to semi-retire this year and stop at 2 or 3 or 4. Throw that out the window. You know, we're in July. That ain't happening.
No.
But let's go and be consistent with our business. And if you're consistent, you make calls. Corey's give me more leads this week. All of them crappy, by the way, Corey. More leads than any other agent this week or this month because he's actually making the phone calls and doing the things you have to do.
It's incredible what consistency can do to your business. It can do to anything, even both business and personal. And I preach this to my team. We have to be consistent.
You have to pick up the phone. The texting is ignored, just like the emails are ignored. And if you don't pick up the phone, and by the way, the 3-second delay, I hang up on those now all the time. Does anybody else hang up on the 3-second delay?
Oh, 100%.
Because it's a telemarketer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you are calling truly just saying, checking in, whatever it is, it might be, you know, an old client's could be an old text or whatever. Hey, just wanted to check in on you. Just passed by your street on 123 Wisteria Lane. Whatever that is, you're going to do that. Okay, great. That works. But you got to keep that constant communication going.
You got to be consistent.
And you think about that. You know, Lou, here's a great example. Lou used to get in the office before 6 in the morning, and he would make all of his birthday calls before 6 a.m. Leave the voicemail at the office. Why? Because no one was there.
Right.
But it heard, hey, dude, I just wanted to let you know, happy birthday. Lou Fricky, just wanted to say hello. Didn't even have a timing of what it was. Half the time he'd get a call back. When he gets the call back, he has the conversation.
Yeah.
When he doesn't get the call back, okay, we'll put them on a list for another time. That's what it is. This is the beauty of doing that. Drive down a street. Hey, you're 123. I passed by Wisteria Lane. A new listing popped up on my past client street. Good excuse to call him. Hey, Joe, just wanted to check in with you, see what's going on. Wanted to let you know there's a listing up on the street. It wasn't mine, but I'm going to go check it out this week. Wonder if you're going to be around. Love to say hi to you and the kids. Drop off a little whatever. And you stop by that client's house when you go see that new listing. Why not? It's going to cost you $3 for your $30,000 commission somewhere down the road, or $25.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not even about the sale. It's just about communicating, you know?
And what's he going to do? He's going to say, Ryan stopped by, gave my kid a stuffed animal, and just wanted to check in. God, that guy's great. And you know what's going to happen? I was thinking about this on the
I want to end on that note, right?
but think about this. My dad said, oh, my God, I went to this incredible car repair guy. Oh, my God, he's amazing, Mike. You should try him. You know how many cars I've taken to this guy since my dad said that? I don't even know if he's amazing. I don't even know if he's reasonable.
Right.
I got the endorsement. Ryan, if you dropped off that stuffed animal, that client on Wisteria Lane, and you said, hey, I was just thinking about you and Tommy and blah, 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 or a bottle of wine or whatever it is, because there was a listing that popped up on that street, just said, hey, I wanted to check in with you. I'm gonna swing by that open house this week, or I'm going to swing by and just check it out. I've got some clients that are interested. Let me know if there's anything, blah, 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 blah. And you knock on the door and you say, hey, it's me, Ryan Arditty. Thanks. How do you guys like the house? Oh, my God. Did you guys do something? They let you in. All of a sudden, that opens up conversation. It opens up referrals.
Right.
It does so much. But if you sit back and you go, my phone's not ringing, my phone's not ringing, my phone's not ringing, what does that do?
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Corey.
Well, on that note, Mike, let's get back to work then, dude.
I'm ready, baby. You know me. I'm always ready to go back to work.
But consistency, man, you're the man when it comes to lending. I appreciate you being on our podcast. Any other last words?
Love you guys a long time. No, I have no last words.
Love
I
you
can
too.
talk for days, as you know.
We know that. We know that,
We
Mike.
know, yes.
Well, respect you, brother. Thank you so much. And thank you for always sharing all of this and being a mentor to all three of us. Appreciate it.
Love you all. Love you guys.
Elite X Podcast, your favorite insurance guy, Henry Rodriguez.
Your SCV MVP.
And Christian Lazore, we out.
We're out.